Okay. I think everything is set up. I'm almost 100% sure everything is set up right. Pretty sure. I messed up one or two things while getting started, but I don't know why it's not saving my settings anymore. I've really got to figure out what happened. Bam! There's that. We're already off to the races here, and let's start seeing what's going on. Let's see. Interpreting Cool World. Yeah, interrupting Cool World with a late-breaking unboxing, are you? You watching Cool World? You bought that Blu-ray? Mine showed up as well, man. Roger Rabbit, always better. Oh, I know what you're talking. You're because he's watching Cool World. I was about to be like, what? But yeah, watching on YouTube myself. Is it really? Cool World is one of the free movies on YouTube. Okay, interesting. I know they've got free movies on YouTube. I just never stop to like look at what they are. Like literally ever. I guess because I'm so far behind in all my series and movies anyway that like at this point, what am I really doing? Like I just keep adding to the pile of stuff that I'm going to watch with all my streaming and everything else. It's never ending. But here we are. Just got done with my stuff. I did my run and everything like that. And I'm actually still kind of coming down from that. This is going to be some real work. I need to drop 23 before I'm caught back up to where I'm supposed to be. But with me being sick for an entire year, I wasn't able to do any of my workouts or anything like that. So like getting back on the bag and everything has been like a huge deal. Do they have a lot of horror? That's kind of crazy. It was between Cool World and Men in Tights. Probably going to do Men in Tights tomorrow. You are getting the most out of your vacation. And I am actually praising you because I can't tell you how many days like I have off and I'm so used to being so busy that I don't even know what to. I've actually sat downstairs on my chair in dead silence doing nothing for well over an hour and a half, 2 hours, just sitting there. And then had my wife be like, so like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like none. Like this is what I'm doing. Right here. This. Dude, I remember liking that movie quite a bit. It has been quite a while since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure I remember almost all of it. So DC Multiverse is winning. Not bad. We are currently sitting at 4 in room. And we're at 3 votes, so one person could be a ghost watcher. Or, we've talked about this before, this entire system is kind of bizarre. Sometimes it tells me that there's like 2 or 3 people in the room, but I'll get like 12 votes, which doesn't make sense. And then other times it'll tell me that there are 12 people here. Yeah, so the ads, okay. So having to set up the stream the way that I'm setting it up now, YouTube automatically, and I've been hearing this is going to be a thing for a while now, YouTube is automatically adding ads now. It's not even me. Like, I can go in and turn them off. Like, so like, yeah, there's an ads automator. And I tried to shut that down, and it didn't quite do what I was hoping it was going to do. I put it on the, I tried to put it on the automatic, the least, because there's like 3 options. It asks me where I want to place ads, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that while I'm in the middle of doing the stream. And then it asks me what like how many ads I would want, and I choose like the lowest possible option, hoping that I can get something over on it, because I hate the fact that it's doing this. Let's see. I'm on the left side. I'm on the right side. I'm on the West Bank. I'm on the East Bank. Okay? That's why I'm glad I've got premium. No ads for me. A toll is a toll, and a roll is a roll. Yeah, it's... whatever. For the most part, I don't think it's going to really get too much in our way here with anything that we do. I actually wondered that myself. I've never bought premium, and I've never done anything with it. And I don't know if it would be worth it for me necessarily, but... well, maybe it would. We're at 5 minutes. We're at DC Multiverse. We're going to call it. Let's see. So, there's that one. Is that it? Oh my. Dupe. This is almost off the show. Like, we are almost out of DC Multiverse until they either send me something. What do I got? DC Multiverse. I think I have that Superman coming. And that's it. Otherwise, I bought in rapid succession all the things that I wanted. And now it's starting to sound like $17 a month, but let me check. It's $14 a month. Okay, that's not terrible. Did I get the Kingdom Come Superman? Yes, that guy is pre-ordered. As for when he will ever arrive, ever be processed, and ever be shipped, I have no idea. I actually just did a video about it a day or so ago, specifically talking about how that's affecting me right now. Like how that's kind of a pain. That some of my stuff is like, you can't trust releases for toys. They're just like an open guess. Like this guy's coming in July. All of a sudden he shows up in May. This guy's coming in May. All of a sudden he shows up in August. Like, so we got 4 votes. I think we got 6 people in the room. We're 1 minute in. We have a chair. That is what I bought. I know some people might know exactly what it is that I have bought, but this is the only reason I bought the thing. A chair. Calling it, the first one tonight is a chair. Chair 1. So, let's do this. Let's start the night. A chair. Pay no attention to that man in front of the thing that actually matters. Yes, this is a Lex Luthor. This is Lex Luthor from, it's a power suit. It's supposedly, I think it's supposed to be from the Darkseid Wars. I could not care less. At all. Like at all. This dude here, who cares? I'd had my eye on this guy for a while, but I didn't want Lex. Nothing about this appeals to me at all. Like nothing. And I said, I'm not gonna buy him for that chair, but boy do I want that chair. Then, and this is actually kind of a heavy box, to be fair. Some time went by, And then some more time went by. And then, as time tends to do, time went by. And the next thing I knew, they were like, does anybody want this Lex Luthor? And we were like, no. No, literally nobody wants that Lex Luthor. And they were like, come on, guys. Please? No. No, it's not happening. Sorry, toy stores. So then you started seeing this guy get marked down. And marked down. And marked down. And marked down. Until finally, he was $10. And I said, $10 chair? Well, that's perfect. And I bought him. I don't give a crap about him. Like, this is one of the first times ever when I could say I bought a figure for their accessory. He does not matter. He's going to go in a box. Like, he's going to immediately be bagged and put on the toy table for anybody who might want to give me $2 for him or something like that. This guy doesn't mean anything. And why did I want that chair? Well, there is actually a reason. I think that the way this chair looks, I can get it to work for barbarian things, and I can get it to work for Motu things. Especially because of the size of these guys, I think I can pull off, like, if you've ever seen Lady Slither in her chair, she sits in this big stone chair. And I'm like, that's a lot like, you know, is it weird that this channel is all of a sudden buying a lot of chairs? Like, I got Professor Xavier, that dude was a chair. I bought the Bone Throne, that was a chair. I bought Conan's Throne, that was a chair. I bought this is a chair. And I'm actually, if anybody follows me on X, I don't post on there very often, but every now and then I get on and I post like 4, 5, 6 things. I was on there a couple days ago and I came by an image, a Frazetta image that I mean, I know the image, but like when I seen it, I said, wait a second. That's Lord Zed's chair. I mean, I was almost 100% sure. So I went in and I looked up Lord Zed's chair and I was like, I mean, aside from a couple of minor details, I never realized that Lord Zed chair, the Lord Zed throne, has a fallback, has an inspired by Frank Frazetta. I never realized that. I mean, you almost can't deny it. If you look up the image I'm talking about, the woman basically looks, she's not, but she looks a lot like I'll be able to get away with using Tigra for it. And if I can get Tigra to sit in the Lord Zed chair with two panthers on both sides of her, I can recreate this image. And I'm like, that's amazing. I want it. So, like, recently, I'm just, like, buying chairs. I have no idea how or why that's happening, but you know what? I got a $10 chair. It's one of the last McFarlane items that we have. Let's open it. Okay, I have a chair. Here it is. For what it's worth, it's not overly complicated. It's got this orangish color to it. It's not the hardest plastic in the world. I mean, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. It is hollow. So, like, this is not necessarily super heavy, but I don't necessarily hold anything against it. Like, I'm not too worried about it. It looks a little bit like that could have been sealed better. Like, I could see that there's that line right there, because on the inside, that's where it clips together. These are definitely two parts that snap together, and then the back goes on. There seems to be a wash, which is nice. There's an onk, which that actually is pretty cool. Could I put Dr. Fate in that, and he would look just fine in it, you know? Like, that's pretty cool. I like symbols like this. Everything about this chair, this is what I wanted. You could argue that this is cheap. I wouldn't argue with you necessarily, but I think honestly with the right lighting and everything, I can make this work. And I don't think it has to be anything special. And for my purposes, I got this for $10. Oh yeah, and then we got him too. We got Lex Luthor. We got him. Look at him. Got an ugly face. He's ugly as sin, man. Look at this. Look at this guy. I don't quite remember what was going on at this point, in all honesty. I really do not. I just do not remember. In the picture, they show him with a mother box, but I guess if we were going to get a chair, we were too cheap to give the box. I mean, I wanted the chair, so I guess I really don't care if I don't get the mother box, but like, yeah. This just tells me who Lex Luthor is. Oh, here it is. After the death of Darkseid in the Darkseid War, Luthor absorbs the tyrannical ruler's incredible power and leaves Metropolis for Apocalypse. Upon arrival, Luthor creates a new power suit, one embezzled with Superman's S-shield on his chest, and becomes the god of Apocalypse. That's good for you. Look, he's fine. I just don't care. Like, that's the thing. I just don't care. If I cared about him, maybe. Like, will he sit? All right. Well, you got to give it up to McFarlane because he does the diaper thing. At least he will actually sit in the chair. Not that I want him in the chair, but, I mean, he does it. And, look, get out of here. Nobody cares about you. Chair. And I did, for the sake of, just to see what it would do. I did remember to bring Lady Slither and her legs. So we're going to pop that off. We're going to pop this on. And her cape is kind of in the way right now, but I'm not going to get too crazy about it. I just want to see if I can make this work. Aside from the fact that I will have to mess with this, the cape, I'll have to take the cape off or replace it with something. I think that with proper lighting and everything and putting Snake Man on the side of her, I think that I can make this work as that big giant chair. And I didn't get it necessarily for her. Strangely enough, I just wanted the chair. Now, as for you though, Slither, if you're going to be sitting on my shelf, you're going to have the bottom half because that is just a sweet body. That's still a really cool figure. But yeah, so Lex Luthor is, let's be honest, Lex Luthor was not added to the shelf. Chair is added to the shelf. And I honestly believe that I will get something out of it. I think I could put like a sorcerer or something like that in there. And I think that I could put lights over to the side, and if I light it properly and everything, I got some ideas for Chair. Chair is the best figure ever. Okay, so let's see. Before we go back to chat, here's that. And this time we have you know what? Just for the sake of, there's that. And then we'll do there, that's the next wave. Let's go back to the chat and see what's going on. I don't like doing pre-ordering. And I can understand that because I'm right there with you. Until the last 2 years, really, I was not a pre-order kind of guy. But the way the market has been running, it's either flip the coin every time or pick the store that makes the most sense to me. Big Bad is pretty close to me, so in terms of deliveries and whatnot, it works out. And then bite the bullet and do the pre-orders. And that's what I've had to do, kind of. Second chair unboxing. Who cares about the bald man or Lex? Dang. Does it have a wheelchair and a mohawk? $10 chair, that's brilliant! Innovation! Dude, I swear. Call it Twix. Nothing wrong with buying props. Let's see. 2 pants and Panthers. Gonna take a lot for that picture. Omega symbol is cool. Put a bit of cloth on the seat, draping over the middle, and you won't even have to see that. That's true too. It's not a hard fix. I could easily just get a little piece of cloth. You could buy it from Walmart. It'll take basically absolutely nothing to do it. Put it across the bottom piece of the chair right here that drapes down and comes across, maybe covers the floor a little bit to kind of like complete the look. And that would be fine. That would be perfect, basically. Looks like RoboCop without his helmet. Looks like trash. He's not the best figure that I have ever unboxed here. Like, by a long shot, he's not the best figure that I have ever unboxed here. I'm not sold on him necessarily. Let me fix that real quick. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, we've got, so far it looks like we've got 6 currently hanging out with us. And we are at 3 votes, all split evenly so far. Which is not necessarily selling anything. We got Motu Origins, DC Multiverse, and Star Wars all running a tie currently. Where that will lead us, I don't yet know. I got 3 videos done today, all topic videos, so those are going to be going up. And then I got like 5 videos left to edit. I think so. I think I've got 7 days worth of materials still. Let's see. Lex needs to battle with a magnifying glass so he can be the new Melt Man. He has the power to melt. Dude, I used to love that show. Like I used to look forward to that show coming on, that Kablam. And then like that, didn't they get their own show off of Kablam? Wasn't there like a small run where it was actually they had a show? Wish I would rate the new Superman suit. It would be interesting if I could get part of the group together to do a Superman suit rate like we used to do, but just that one thing, like not a huge video, just a quick thing. Like, it would be neat. I'm curious how he would stack up to most of the other ones that we've rated over the years. So now we're at Motu and Star Wars on the on a tie. So let's see what we can do here. Oh, oops. See what that does. You think you're at a 4 right now with him. I've really got to give it a look. I got to give it a look over. There are things about it that I like. Things about it that are very much new age that I'm not necessarily sold on. So I'm kind of back and forth with how I feel about it sometimes. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not in love with the S. The S is kind of like, meh to me. Like, it's fine, but it doesn't blow my mind. And I think the S is kind of important. But then again, you could argue that I like one of the simplest S's as well. So, like, really, you know what I mean? Looks like, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, we've done a lot of these episodes and Motu has not been winning anything. Motu has won the tiebreaker. Motu figure. Oh, man. Well. Well, I know that I have... Let me see what's sitting down here, because it's been a while. Okay. There's 3 of them. Oh, cool. Oops. Bam! There. 4 of them. I heard due to copyright they couldn't use the regular symbol. It's very possible. But there's been so many different S's over the years. Like, I don't know. Like, it makes me wonder what symbol is... What particular Superman S is protected by copyright? Does it have something to do with the S being copyright by... Oh, no, because the other movies were still all done by the same company, right? I don't know. Look, licensing is a mess. I do know that 100%. Like, I know that. Like, when you talk about licensing, it's an absolute mess. There's always an issue in terms of that. Like, there's always some sort of music, because they even got, I even seen on the commercial, aren't they using, if it's not the theme, it's so close to the theme, it may as well be the theme. So it just kind of blows my mind if that's true and they couldn't use the S. You think the estate still owns the S? I mean, that S has changed many times. And you can't sell the idea that that thing on his chest is not an S. I don't know. Look, I haven't dug into anything. I've been staying out of it for the most part, just kind of waiting for the movie to come out. Because all I really care about is just seeing the film, not necessarily getting tied down in all the drama that's happening with it. So I actually don't know anything about it. And that's fine, and they did that whole hope thing last time when they made it an S2, but it was still an S. And I mean, that particular S, isn't that the S that's currently being used in the animated series as well? And I think didn't it sneak into a couple comic book pages? So, like, it's not like that S is unused either. It's still the S. It's just a very stylized version. Looks like Triclops is 1. Okay. Triclops. Is that you? Are you right there? Bam! Okay. A Motu figure. Triclops. Motu figure. It's been a while. For some reason, Motu has not been winning the votes. Like, it's just the way that it is. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a fine thing. Depends on how the votes go. But Motu Origins, this is the first one. This is the first vote on the live that they've won in a long time. And the fact that it turned out to be this one, I'm going to tell you why I bought this one. I needed a Triclops for the, oh my gosh. The flying skeleton ship. My mind is not working today. Look, because I had it, because I had the Skeletor's ship, I wanted Triclops for that ship. And I didn't have one. And then I saw that this was a thing, and it came back around, and it went on sale, and I was like, great, and I got one. This isn't like one of those things where I have like a big story to tell. This isn't a character that blows my mind necessarily. I like Triclops for what it's worth. I like that he's in the original. So this is what I mean about how Motu constantly changes and alters. This guy is he's paid. Like, in some of the mini comic continuity, he's literally not a bad guy. He's kind of like a bounty hunter. He's a mercenary, a sellsword. And then he kind of makes it a personal vendetta, and then they kind of warp him into a bad guy as time goes on, and that was just like it. And then he just kind of took off because, of course, he was just like a 100% bad guy in the cartoons, and then that kind of ran through the comics and everything. That's what he is. But I've always liked the idea that this guy, his services just happened to be bought by the highest bidder, and it was not the good guys. I actually kind of like that idea because that folds more in to what specifically influences this entire series. The idea that influences the entire series of Motu is things like Conan the Barbarian. And for what it's worth, Conan in those kinds of stories, sometimes he's on one team and sometimes he's on the other team, because in the world that he lives in, he has to play the scenarios that he's given. And sometimes he's fighting for Tarum. Sometimes he's fighting in a group of crusaders. Sometimes he's fighting in a holy war that he was drug into. Like, you don't know, and sometimes neither does he know exactly where he's going to end up, or what money is going to make him go to whatever side he needs to go to do the things that he needs to do. And so Triclops, originally being under the mini-comics concept of, like, he was kind of like, he wasn't necessarily, like, what's the back here say? It says Triclops multi-vision modes, dangerous soldier in Skeletor's arm. It doesn't say to that, but I'm almost 100% sure that I remember reading in the original, like the original first mini comic, that, and this wouldn't help at all, but the first mini comics, I'm pretty sure he's kind of like a sword for hire. I know I didn't mute the mic this time, but these guys aren't too exceptional. I think I'll get away with this one. Well, never mind. This is going to start getting loud. This won't be long. I'll be right back. Okay, and while I was taking him out, his head popped off. Motu toys are trash. Don't even bother buying them. We'll never open another one ever again. No, it's... There. I like his sword for what it's worth. It's standard, but it's cool. It's very broad sword kind of idea, or rather long sword kind of. His armor is fine. He's fine. He's got that little gimmick. This guy is not blowing my mind because I've seen better versions of him at this point. Like, here's the thing about the way the show works. Because right now we do a lot of lives, and those lives, a lot of the votes and whatnot are determining what's getting opened. So, when I bought this guy, I was probably in a very different state of mind. Now he's sat here for a very long time. And he's never really been one of the characters that blows my mind necessarily. I like the idea that he has this mechanical apparatus and it turns and it changes the kind of vision that he is getting. And then so he can see really far. Maybe he could see night vision, or maybe he could see infrared, or maybe it spins around and he gets some sort of X-ray vision or something like that. That is kind of cool. And if they played with it even further in a modern setting, I think it could be really, really cool, in all honesty. His armor is fine. Now, this is a line that I've kind of stepped away from. Origins. Origins has a couple of figures left to unbox. Most of them that I'm still very much looking forward to actually getting to talk about. But the main Origins line, I've kind of stepped off of it. There's a couple of figures here and there that still have my attention. This is just an absolute fact. This is a series filled with imagination, and every now and then they get mine. Like, there's still some of the Snake Men and stuff like that I feel would be really, really cool on the shelf. But for the most part, I'm kind of collecting the cartoon collection figures. And as I get the cartoon collection figures, that's kind of where I'm sitting with what I specifically care more about is the cartoon collection right now. And even those I've kind of stepped away from, because while this guy is cool and he very much works for that nostalgic feeling of your old 80s toy, I barely missed that part of it. So, like, because I was born in 84, by the time I was old enough to care about what was on TV, like beyond the fact that I was just sitting in front of a TV, by the time I was old enough to care, it was Ninja Turtle time. What brought me in to Motu was later in life Conan the Barbarian. Like, and I've talked about this in other videos. Specifically, I have a video where I talk about I am collecting Masters of the Universe and why did it take me so long to do so. And I talk about all the things that kind of led to this moment and kept me out of the series as I was growing up. And then, as I did get really heavy in, at first I bought both. And I was very interested in buying both. I wanted both. And as I got both, I started figuring out that what I was liking more is the Masterverse versions of these figures. I didn't grow up with these. So like where I grew up with the Ninja Turtles and it was really cool to put the Playmates on my shelf, like the original Ninja Turtle releases, those were amazing to me. And when I heard that they were going to do this with those figures for Playmates, they did not. They did not. Because I did that video too. I opened those anniversary turtles that we all thought was going to be the Motu Origins Ninja Turtles of Playmates. They are not. I wouldn't say completely disappointing. I did a couple of photo sets with them where I like had them fight Bowser and whatnot, so they move well enough that you can get away with it. And the weird golf ball skin that they were given, in person, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it also didn't blow my mind. What I like, and what I have pretty much determined at this point, is that for my Motu collecting, I've pretty much moved exclusively into Masterverse. That has my attention. I think every figure that I have got, aside from 2, in Masterverse, are fantastic. I like all of them. All of them. Even when it feels like I'm buying the same figure 6, 7, 8 times in a row, I like all of them. Not necessarily true with Origins, and I started figuring that out. Origins has one flaw. I know that I talk about reuse. And I talk about how, for the most part, reuse doesn't bother me because I understand that reuse is a thing and every toy line does it. But how you do it can matter. When you sell solid black He-Man, kind of blue He-Man, really blue He-Man, brown hair He-Man, regular He-Man, He-Man with different chest belt, guys. Come on. That, anybody that collects those old toys, or these, and then complains about reuse, I'm sorry, your arguments are invalid at that point. Because talk about a line with reuse. This is He-Man with that head. Painted different. Now you could argue that's true for a lot of different figures. How you doing? No, come over here. Come here. And that's fine, because toys have a lot of reuse. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I usually am fine with it. But it started to take its toll here while I was noticing I bought 3 Triclops in Masterverse. And seeing this Triclops tells me exactly why I moved to Masterverse exclusive. I don't have a nostalgia connected to these figures. And because of that, without the nostalgia, this is just like a barbarian man with a twisty head. And that's fine if that's what he was meant to be. I don't know. Like, it's interesting to open this guy this late and feel how my opinion over time has definitely changed. But not so much about the other Motu figures that I have on the shelf. Because I could easily take half those Motu figures that are sitting behind me right now off the shelf, and I would have a lot to say about them. But not him. Maybe if he was my favorite. But he's not. He just kind of makes me realize why I went to Masterverse. Which doesn't make him a disappointment necessarily. but it also doesn't give me anything really to do with him in terms of a video, aside from saying, I got one. Back to the chat. I saw on Amazon Prime it's supposed to premiere July 7th on Prime. Superman? Because that's what we were talking about, right? Oh no, it's not New Eternia. I've been duped. Not duped. I've already opened all of the New Eternia for him, for Triclops. If you got in here, I did put the first wave before we did the tiebreaker. That was specifically labeled Origins. Let's see. So Action League Now didn't really get its own show. It just got re-aired in an episode. Oh, okay. See, I was wondering because I knew that there was like a time when you used to be able to just watch Action League Now. What's up, everyone? Just getting in. What'd you miss? Not too much. A chair. Chair also means Bill only has one DC left. Yeah, there's only one left, literally. Triclops is a poor man's Manny Faces. Hey, Bill, what's up? Hey, what's going on, man? I enjoy that Triclops is voiced by my Henry Rollins. Don't lie, Bill. You were excited to watch Bozo, Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and Muppet Babies, not the Turtles. I do remember watching... I think I watched all three of those. I think realistically I watched all three of those. So, like... I mean, if we're getting super technical, I did watch Bozo, Super Mario Super Show, and the Muppet Babies more than Motu. But not the Turtles. Man, Turtles just absolutely took over my life when I was a kid, man. That was the thing to watch, man. Like, it was the absolute thing to watch. So that's just one. So that's out of rotation. Put that in. And let's also do... You know what? Sure. Bam! Let's run these. What's my favorite DC villain figure that I have? There's a reason I'm thinking pretty hard here. So in terms of the Motu, sorry, not Motu. In terms of DC, so that's the DC line right there. Qualifiers is like Doomsday. It's probably Atrocitus. Because, like, he was a Build-A-Figure, he was a fantastic wave where I didn't hate buying any of it. Like, they were all Black Lanterns, strangely enough. So, like, I bought an entire line of Black Lanterns and got Atrocitus. So I got Black Lantern Batman. I got Firestorm Black Lantern. I got Superman Black Lantern. Like, and then every one of them comes with a piece. And then before I knew it, I had Atrocitus. And Atrocitus is huge. He's a Red Lantern. Like, he stands out on the shelf. Like, he's really cool. Like, that's, in terms of the DC villains that I currently have on the shelf, he's probably the coolest, because he's probably the coolest figure on the shelf in terms of the way that he's done. Got Maximum Spider-Man yesterday. He poses like a dream. You know, I'm thinking, the more I've kind of seen of him here and there, aside from some minor nitpicks, and I know I'm going to have some things to say about him, but like, I imagine that I'm going to absolutely love him. Like, everything that I've seen makes me feel like, yes, he cost money. But after the fact, if he turns out becoming a definitive Spider-Man and I pretty much don't need to worry about the next 10 that come out, then who cares? I think it said Superman 2025 on Prime, July 7th. Superman 2025 Spin Master stuff is starting to show up in stores. Saw a vid on some of the offerings. There's a Hammer of Barevia figure that looks fun. Swinging battle axes. I haven't been paying too much attention to like the figures and stuff that have been coming out for it. Yes, yeah, I watched Bozo the Clown. Yes, that Bozo. Yeah. Yes, I was old enough. I'm old enough to have seen the end of Bozo the Clown, basically. Like, in terms of him being broadcast. If he's still around, like, if another guy wears the makeup and it's still a thing, I am unaware of it. But pretty much for it being on television, like, easily accessible in the mornings before I went to school, like, I pretty much saw the beginning of the end of that whole thing. What? What? Imagine it coming back with beer pong Bozo. Just like an adult Bozo the Clown, like he's just very much like a retired drunk clown that like has a show still. And he's still trying to, like, recapture his glory or something like that. But he's, like, completely, like a real-life Krusty kind of thing. Well, that's interesting. Hey, personal space, man. Hey. you want to get off of me? I think that's Homie the Clown from In Living Color. We don't play that. Also, select theaters are showing Superman early on the 7th to Amazon Prime members who are able to get tickets. What? Well, is it time to go outside? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So this is happening, and that's happening. So I'll be right back. Okay. Now it looks like, because when the light comes in and I pale out real hard on one side, then it looks like I turn the lights off in here or something like that. Whatever. I don't want to close this window. This room is a heat box, and I have yet to test a fan in this room while the microphone is on. I don't know how that's going to work. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to when I actually have to make that test, because sooner or later it will be hot. It's going to happen sooner or later at some point. So when we get there, we get there. Also, select theaters are showing Superman early on the 7th to Amazon Prime members who are able to get tickets. They haven't said it will be nationwide for Prime members. Still watch the 11th. I'm gonna see it, but I'm in no super rush to like run into deals or like try to rush out and stuff like that. It's something that I definitely have to see, but I have to wait till either the guys are ready to see it or at least all my surrounding main family like has days off and stuff. Might be a week or two after it comes out before I get to it, but I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I've been having fun posing him. Those drop down hips, toe joints, the new body really make him feel fun to pose. I've seen people absolutely grow to love this figure after having him in hand. And now see, that's the thing too. So many channels jumped on the bandwagon to like hate this figure ahead of time. Like I watched it, I even made a video specifically talking about it. It was a short, but I was like, look, if you were on the bandwagon right now to post 10 videos back to back talking about how maximum Spider-Man, maximum profit, maximum blah blah blah, I hate this, Hasbro taking advantage of you, da 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 da, and just like absolutely hate mongering your way to clicks, because man, people click on those videos. Because I clicked on those videos. I know we do that. Okay, we see it and we click on it, and then they got like view after view after view after view after view, just marking it up, man. Just I hate this. This is so bad. Blah blah blah. Hasbro's. And then to turn directly around after literally complaining for 10 videos straight, nothing but maximum hate for Maximum Spider-Man, to then turn around and go, well, here's my review of Maximum. I was like, no. And I didn't watch some of those reviews because it feels disingenuous to me that you disliked it so much that you ran right out and got it. Like, that just, something about that seems like it's more business and less passion, and it made me not interested in their take on that figure from that side of the argument at that point. What did you miss? You missed a chair and a man with eyes. That's what you've missed. Professional! Hey, Bill, you know the blue dog head alien guy from SPD? I met and chat with the Sentai actor yesterday. Dude called me Argenta guy number 1 and honorary Sentai Ranger. Cool, man. Yes, that is exactly who he's talking about. I mean, for us, that's who he's talking about. Does he have the same name in the Sentai? He missed chair and truck. Yes. Let's see. Bill thinking to himself, I forgot the mayonnaise in the trunk of the car. In all honesty, the new Superman looks bad to me. It looks like they don't know what direction they want to go. The trailer is everywhere, and Lex Luthor doesn't look intimidating. And James Gunn made Superman look weak. Well, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I also know that trailers are faked nowadays. It has become very regular to show scenes in the trailer that will not be in the movie, or alter how they look so that you still don't know, even if you've seen a lot of the trailer, you still don't know what you're walking into. So, and because that is very blatantly a thing now, I can't trust the trailer 100% at all. I can only kind of look at what I'm seeing and then speculate from that point. And Jada won, by the way. So what I'm thinking right now in terms of this is I think that because we are jumping in with the universe already mid-running, I think what you're seeing is it's going to be tight. Like, this is either going to work or it's going to be way, 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 way too busy. That's the terrifying thing. We have Mr. Terrific confirmed. We have, from what I understand, in some way, we have Cersei, I think, is confirmed. We have oh crap. There's a super adaptoid or whatever. Trying to remember what he is. Man, my mind is not working today. I said Mr. Terrific. We have a Guy Gardner, which also signifies the idea that there's already 2 other lanterns at minimum that are already running around, if not already 3. We are far enough that Superman and Lois know each other on a personal level, and it seems that she very blatantly knows he is Superman, because there's even a new trailer or whatever where she's talking to him and she does the interview or whatever, and he's very much sitting there as Clark Kent, and they're kind of talking, and she's like, "You'd let me interview you as Superman," or whatever. And so, like, there's that, and then we're also far enough in that that most of the supervillains would already be, like, heavily established. And the thing about that is that people tend to lean into to first-time stories. Case in point, I do this to almost everybody I talk to when I talk about, like, sequels. You like origin stories more than you like anything else. Ghostbusters 1 is often looked at as the superior film. I'm not sure why. Like, I'm being honest about that, because Ghostbusters 2, everybody is already established. The villain is interesting and different. He's kind of cool. The city is a melting pot, which is kind of cool. Like, it seems like the city is far more affected by what is going on this time than... And I know people are like, "Oh, well, in the first movie, you know, that was an invading god," but, like, all that really happened was the Ghostbusters went up on a villain and a marshmallow walked down the street and then exploded. I mean, not that a bunch of other stuff didn't happen in between that was fun for the movie, but for the event that actually affects the people around them. And then, like, Ghostbusters 2, I also see that because the characters are already established, you could take time developing the characters instead of introducing the characters. Half the movie in the original movie is you have to introduce everybody. And that's true for all superhero films. Like, in a Superman movie, if you watch Superman 1 or the original Superman movie, people often spot that as this really big, fantastic movie. And people like the first Captain America the movie. They like it very, very much. And people tend to like things like the Spider-Man movies. They tend to like, for everybody that always says, "Oh, I'd rather that they just, everybody knows who Peter Parker is. Let's just move on, blah, blah, blah." But then, like, if you don't tend to have the origin, parts of this new Parker, you may not know the way that you think you do, and then you may not identify with him the way that you think you might. Such as a lot of people identify and really like the Sam Raimi movies. But then a lot of people that are kind of like me saw the Marvel Spider-Man movies, and while I like him, There's a lot of things about that Spider-Man that, like, bother me. Like, how are you going to do all those movies and you never show or really talk about Uncle Ben other than he's dead? Your inspiration for Pull Yourself Together wasn't your family or your Uncle Ben or things that you were taught in your life or the idea of responsibility. At the end of the first movie, the reason that you pull yourself together is because Tony Stark gave you a pep talk. Like, you didn't even have the spider sense in the first movie. Like, they added that in the next movie because people were irritated that something seemed weird about the fact that he didn't seem to have it. Little things like that. There was no origin story necessarily. They kind of started him out. And so we never got to know who this kid was at his base and then move from there. This Superman movie has that going against it, is that it looks like we are starting in the middle. That could be great for a DC universe. We know these characters. But do you? Do you? Like, do you know this Superman in particular? Do you know little things about him? Like, what would really get under his skin? Is this Lex Luthor dangerous? Do you know anything about his history other than he's in the movie and he used to be Beast? Like, what do we know? Nothing. And we will know nothing going forward into this movie. And that's what I mean. Is it really... It's hard for me to pin down how I should think about the movie through trailers alone. And I very much have to be careful about doing so. Because I just don't think we can gather information, or we don't really know enough to judge it too hard. I don't know. Like I've been saying for a while, I just got to see it. Like, I've got to see it. There are some things in it that I'm really, really excited about, and there are some things in it that have me really questioning where we're going. Okay. Yes, Anubis Kruger. I think I knew that, actually. Yes, it is. Thank you. I won't name names, but today, one YouTuber who was heavily critical of Maximum Hulk bragging about buying it. So that's what I mean. Like, he probably did like 6 or 7 videos back to back about how he doesn't need it. Maximum Hulk is maximum profit. Hasbro's blah blah blah. And then before you knew it, he was like, "Oh, we're going to review the Maximum Hulk." And then they like to use the excuse, "Well, this is my YouTube channel. This is my job." No, it's not. Like, you don't have to buy things you don't like. And if you do buy something you don't like, or even if the company gives you a thing that you don't like, because there's only one of two possibilities. You have already made your decision. You don't like this thing, and you are avidly against it, to the point where you've been telling everybody, "I ain't even going to buy it because I've already got a Hulk and blah, 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 and this is pointless and stupid, and they're just digging into our pockets." But then you go and buy it and you do a review. Either one, you're already biased about the thing that you've bought, and you're going to look for reasons to hate it. Or two, are you a shill that got a bunch of clicks for doing "I hate this," and then immediately following that up with a review where the figure may have been given to you by the actual company, and now all of a sudden you're going to do a turnaround. "You know, in hand, he's really not that bad, guys. Like, if I'm being honest," like, it feels disingenuous. It's not that I don't think you could change your mind over time, but something about the way that the hate was tracking, and then all of a sudden they were buying the figures anyway, after literally doing video after video after video after video where they were talking about how they would not waste their time with it. That feels disingenuous when all of a sudden you're doing a review for it. I was born the year the SPD Sentai came out, so Doggy Kruger actor told me, "Good to know you woke up in a world me and my team managed to protect. Be happy, soldier." That is kind of neat. I hear the dog barking. Be right back. Okay. After seeing this new Superman trailer, this is definitely the most excited I've been for a DC movie since The Dark Knight. You actually owe us a Jada unboxing. Jada won when you had... No. Cutman was in the last one. Cutman actually got opened in the last live. Let's see. Jada won when you had to abandon the stream last week. Toys Metaverse has both Conan version for pre-order, Soup Bowl, and Horn Helmet. So, about this. Me, alone, just me, the straight sword horn helmet is probably the one that I would like more. Maybe. The straight sword feels more correct on paper. And what I mean by that is that I have seen the straight sword in many a comic book. And I like the original Marvel years. I think that is the Conan. I think that's the Conan I migrate to more than any of them. However, true to the paintings and the books is the Soup Bowl. As ridiculous as that is. And since right now I only have so much money, I did buy the Soup Bowl. If I can get the other version, it's really just a head difference and an accessory, I would be interested. But if they actually do the accessory packs that they've been saying they're going to do, buying the other Conan would probably be a waste of my money. Because chances are they may just release that sword and that head and other looks specific for Conan in those accessory packs. So where am I going with this? Especially since these figures are about to start costing $90 to $100 a piece. That's a lot of money. They basically run on the regular $80 to $89 now. And the last restock of Tigra put them in the 90s. So, that's getting real tight in terms of... I don't think I'm going to spend $200 on two Conans when it makes more sense financially to probably buy the Soup Bowl, because right now I have the entire Frazetta line, and that's what Frazetta Icons does, is it captures the artwork of Frazetta. Frazetta, Soup Bowl. So, and the Curve Sword. So that's the Conan I bought. And it would make more financial sense for me to wait for an accessory pack if they actually do that. And they are discussing that very, very realistically. I can't believe I didn't do this. But yes, I don't know why I didn't set these up yet. Or, bam! Those are the two that are actually up from that collection. We're done. We are starting. Some of these collections are starting to run down to like one or two figures, and they're done. By the way, did you see the AI Darth Vader thing? The Fortnite game developers recreated Vader's voice with AI for the game with permission from the late Vader actor and his family. But people are using the Vader voice AI to say slurs and other bad stuff, which has caused a scandal. People playing games? What are your thoughts on AI voices and the like. Oh man. This is going to get real complicated. So look, there's a couple of things here. And I'll be as cool as I can about some of it, and I'll be as real as I can. I mean, you know me at this point. So here's part of my problem. I see things like the AI artwork and AI voice thing and everything like that, right? And I see that people are like very, very wound up on it. They're like, oh my God, they're replacing human actors, blah, 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 this and that. And they're not wrong. And they're also like, oh my God, did you see that McFarlane or whatever just did a C, instead of paying an artist, he did a C, an AI picture for the back of his toy. Here's the thing. And this is going to sound a certain way. I fully understand before I even say it. First time? Guys, I'm about as regular guy as you can possibly get. I'm not saying this is a right take. I'm saying this is the reality of the world that I have lived in since I was 18. I have worked in logistics, warehouse labor, my whole life. Aside from stepping out for about a 3-year gap, like a hiatus where I worked in the food industry, I have worked in logistics warehousing pretty much my entire life, either on the logistics side or the production side. Warehouse. And I have watched my job get taken, replaced, and butchered my entire life. Without warning. Hey, new robot arm. Oh, great. Hey, new picking system. Now instead of 30 people working in the bins, we're only going to need 14 of you. Because this new program is a bunch of shoeboxes, and it brings the shoeboxes right to you, and we only need 14 people to man the stations. And it comes with 400% increase revenue stream. And yeah, that's, by the way, just so you understand, I'm using a very real world thing. I worked in a warehouse where there was a bin system, where about 30 to 40 people worked in that area. They tore it down. They built an auto picking system. That auto picking system only needs about 14 people, specific stations in which those people stand to pick materials. And the productivity went up 400%. We got none of it. All we got was to work 400% harder. That's not a joke. I know that people think, oh, well, now you don't got to walk and push the carts. Yeah, but now the time that used to be like your downtime where you kind of got to rest, because you didn't have to climb and pick out of the totes and move a thing and whatnot. You could just walk to the next section, take a good minute and a half to kind of catch your breath after picking 40-pound parts or whatever. That's gone. Now, this big machine in front of you goes whoop, and it whips around, and there's a thing in front of you, and you pick it up, and you put a thing on it, and you staple it, and you put a tag, and you move it to the side, and you walk about 2 steps, and you put it in a box, you take 2 steps back, you hit the button on the screen, it goes whoop, pick again. Immediately. And every time you push the button on the screen, it tags exactly how long you took to pick, what you're picking, and then tapes you while you're doing it. So not only do they automate my jobs on the regular, they're constantly watching every microsecond of everything that you do all the time so that you work like a robot. You come in, you shut up, you work. Why is that relevant to the conversation that you're asking me here? Because when they replace an artist with AI, and people go, oh my God, oh no. Where was the outrage when 250 people in my warehouse lost their jobs and never got replaced? It might sound spiteful, but what I'm trying to say, because I'm not trying to be like, how come nobody cried about my job? What I'm trying to say is realistically, this is what has been happening in all jobs for years. I'm surprised it took this long, if you want the truth of it. I'm surprised it took this long for them to AI art, AI movie, AI voice act, and AI special effect. I'm really surprised it took this long. And now that they've automated it, and a lot of talented people that spent a lot of time getting very talented are no longer going to be as relevant as they were. And that's scary. We do lose something in the artistic field. If a machine can just write a book, if you could say, if we get to a point where I can just tell my AI system, hey, I want to read a sword and sorcery tale in the style of so-and-so. Write that up for me. And it all of a sudden just gives me a book of like, I don't know, 210 pages. And I'm like, sweet. And I read through it. And maybe it's passable at best. But then how many books have I read of human writers that are also just passable at best? But this was instantaneous and free. And the other one, I waited an entire year to read a book. And when that book came out, it was just kind of subpar and okay. That's terrifying. It's terrifying. But I've worked in an industry where I've watched this happen my whole life. So now watching it happen in another industry, my thoughts are kind of skewed on it. Like, you can fight this. You can fight it and you can make a fuss and you can be mad and you can say all the things you want to say. But here's the bottom line of the argument. It's not pretty, but I'm just going to put a business hat on and I'm going to tell you, and you're not going to like it. It is cheaper, up and away cheaper, to simulate a Darth Vader voice with AI than it is, or was, to hire Jones. It is cheaper to produce 400% extra revenue with 14 people than it is to produce less than 400% revenue with 40. The ethics of it haven't meant anything in the car industries or in my industries. They haven't meant anything. You can ethic all day long until you're blue in the face. But the end of it is that this is happening now. And you've either got to learn to coexist alongside it or start voting with your wallets hard. Like, you want artwork from an actual person? You better start paying those commission fees online. You better start keeping those independent artists alive. And it's you that's going to have to do it. It's me that's going to have to do it. And you're also going to have to dig pretty hard. And you're going to have to know when AI is being used in a movie project that you would rather stay away from or you would rather jump into. And that's rough. It's going to get really rough as to what you want to support and what you don't want to support. And how long will it be until you just accept the fact that AI voices from actors that you used to know are currently being used in movies, and you've just gotten used to it and you just shrug your shoulders about it? Because that's exactly what's happened in my industry my entire life. The union gets up in arms, it makes the news, a couple people complain about it on social media, maybe. 2 weeks later, everybody forgets about it, now they're robots. And a couple hundred people lose their jobs, and nobody bats an eye. So, like, I know that it sounds like I'm coming from a place of, like, anger. But really, it's just the reality of this situation has been been part of my life for so long that when I hear about this, it doesn't hit me the same way that it probably hits other people. Other than the fact that it's real cool to think that some of these actors that have left us, they almost get a little bite of immortality. And if that money is going to the families or the estates, then maybe that's acceptable. But also one could argue, how long should an estate really be able to profit off their great-great-great-grandfather's work? I think this is a very complicated question. I don't think that I can answer it simply or with any real sit down, besides literally giving like an hour and a half to the entire thing and looking at it and saying, this part of it I agree with, this part of it I don't agree with, this part of it scares me, this part of it's okay, this I would buy, this I would pay for, this I'm not okay with, I don't think this is okay at all. Like, I think that's super complicated. And I think that because of the system that I've lived in for practically my entire life, it's really, really hard for me to say anything without immediately comparing the same arguments that they're having to the same arguments that I've had my whole life. And nothing's come of it. Literally nothing. Seems like the crickets in the background are enjoying the stream too. Yeah, no, they're out there today, man. I don't know where they are, but yeah, they are chirping. Dog heard the doggy got jealous. Poll completed with 5 votes. Either that or the crickets. I think Seth means the individual figures to choose from. No, the one with the specific figure. Bison won 2 in the last one. Yeah, so Bison's already... Yes. Oh, what's going on? Let's see. Oh, they're going to have to buy what's left of you in a soup can. During the Hangout says Bill opened 3 things and kind of stopped opening. We are set. Unless this is happening recently. For some reason, the live chat over here will stop updating. It happened randomly. It doesn't like inform me. It just kind of happens. But we did get Electman 1, the last run, which is really cool, by the way, because now that means I've got to open every single Mega Man figure. And it leaves us with 1 Jada in the picking in the voting ring. Because I have Fireman. All these videos should be on the channel. If you have any interest in like the Jada Mega Man line, and you just haven't decided to pull the trigger and you want to know, there's Iceman so far has a video, Mega Man has a video, Fireman has a video. Now Cutman will have a video when I get to actually cutting his thing, and then now Electman. Awesome. Let's do this. Electman. Electman. Mega Man 1. Jada Toys. Okay. So, when I played Mega Man 1, it blew me away. As you know, I use the call sign ReploidBill. That is a direct throwback to Mega Man. At the time, when I was very, very young, I went by... This name was so stupid. I was a kid. That's what I'm going to tell you. I was a kid. And when I got my first email, it was on like SBC Global or some crap like that. And I used the name The BB3. That's right, I was cool like that. I was so proud of that stupid name. Like, you know how when you're young and you look back now as you're older and you realize just how stupid something was? Let me tell you, I used the call sign, the BB3. I even put it on my jean jacket when I was little. I took a permanent marker and wrote it on the back of my jean jacket and everything. I was like, I'm so cool. I'm Bill Bush the Third. Like, what stopped me from wearing that jacket? What stopped me from wearing that jacket is I went to school one day. And somebody, because some kids are brilliant and they're very good with their insults, somebody took the BB3 and said something else to me. Something way more adult-oriented about 3 BBs. And I stopped wearing that jacket. And then I remember we lost our internet provider. Our emails were tied to the internet service that we had at the time. Like now everybody has a Gmail. It's just kind of pretty much understood that that's what you do. Or they have like a Yahoo or whatever. Well, I had, like I said, an SBC Global. Then I got a new email provider or a new internet provider. And that new internet provider was Yahoo. Was specific like Yahoo. And then we went from there, we went to AOL. Now, when we went to AOL, that was the very end of me using the BB3. Because when we left AOL, which didn't take that long, because like, it was probably like my second computer or something like that. We ended up getting off of AOL and we went to another company. I think it was probably I think it was still AOL, but there was something different about the way we had to change internet providers that I had to make a new name or whatever. And I remember my dad coming up and saying, "Hey, we got to change names again. What do you want your email? What's your name or your sign-in going to be?" And I remember at the time we were playing some Mega Man. Like, we were always playing Mega Man over at my buddy's house. And my house, for what it was worth. Because I had part 1 and 2, and then he had, like, 3 and 4. And I remember saying, ReploidBill. And I remember my dad going, "What even is that?" And I said, Dad, Mega Man's a Reploid." And he's like, "You really want that to be your email?" And I was like, I do. Mega Man is awesome. And I don't want to just be like Mega Man Bill. I want it to be Reploid, like the concept, he's a Reploid, he's a robot. That's what I want. Because at the time, like, Mega Man X had come out, and I was starting to understand the idea between Reploids, robots, Mavericks, and I was like, I want to be a Reploid. That's awesome. That's what I want. And there we go. I took that name. I started using it on AOL. Then I went from AOL into Gmail. And pretty much I have been using ReploidBill as my call sign for years after that. For absolute years after that. It's pretty much been my absolute go-to call name all the time. And every single time I think about changing it, like, I'm kind of into a lot of other things and yada yada, and then, like, I just don't. It's kind of like there's another guy that I watch on YouTube. His name is Kakarot197. He's a Gundam channel, but it just so happens that the email he made all those years ago, he was into Dragon Ball Z, and, like, he just never changed it. I get it. I just kind of run with it now. It's become part of what I do. So I've just kept the name Reploid. Now, luckily, I never stopped liking Mega Man. So, like, it still very much works for me, and it's still one of my absolute biggest things. But I'm going to say, years ago, played some Mega Man. You know, I started with Cutman. This guy was always the second to last. I would go after this guy right before I went to Gutsman. Why? Not because Gutsman was hard. Not because this guy was tough, so I saved him for a while. Look, right after beating Cutman, if I was smart, which I wasn't back then, I would have went after him right after Cutman. Because just throw the scissors at him, he's done. I didn't know that back then. So when I was first playing these games, his level came up, and he was the level that you had to go up. And it was really, really, really hard to go up. It was a nightmare. It was so difficult to do that. The game wasn't built in a way that worked with those kind of levels. And proof to that is that later on, they'd pretty much given up on those levels. If you play a lot of Mega Man, you'll see that Mega Man 1, they tried it with Elecman, and then they pretty much gave up on that crap real fast. The absolute 100% skyscraper do nothing but go up levels are seldom used, and if they are, they're very careful about how they use them. It's not good design. Not for Mega Man, not for back in the way that those games were done. So this guy had one of the worst levels in all of Mega Man. Later, I started to realize that I could beat Gutsman probably with only 1 or 2 mistakes. I just needed to really watch the elevators. He was intimidating, but not actually hard to beat the level. Why is all of this relevant? Because I made a discovery back then, and I still to this day kind of live by it. And a lot of my friends say the same thing too, now that they've kind of, like they play Mega Man a lot and whatnot, and they've kind of talked about it too. I have this weird Mega Man theory. If the level is hard, the boss is a punk. You're gonna rock him. If his level is difficult, he's not. If the level is fairly easy and you get to him real easy, he ain't no joke. Be careful. And it almost feels like it's true. Because I remember this level was a nightmare. It was hard. Then got up to the top of the steps. I had a bunch of the weapons. I had all but Gutsman's weapons. So I was like, okay, well, one of these has to work. So far, the scissors hasn't hurt anybody, so I'll start with that. We go into his door, climb up the ladder, climb up the second ladder, go upstairs, I got the scissors. This guy immediately starts with, shoots his little things, and I throw the scissors. I hit him. Bam! Like half his life is gone. Second scissors. Bam! He's dead. And I was like, that was it? That was it? It kind of floored me that this guy went down like nothing. And when I was a kid, I remember really fighting with myself about this one too. Scissors? Why does the scissors... how does that make sense? And I remember really arguing with myself about how that made sense. Then I got a little older and I started to realize that I think that what they were doing with that was, you cut the cord. The subtlety of that Mega Man thing escaped me for years when I was younger. I'm pretty sure that's the thought process. Is that Electric Man, how you going to stop him? Cut the cord. No power. Throw scissors. I don't think that it actually holds up in robot logic where robots have a weakness. If you threw this into a comic book and you had to explain that, I'm not sure how they would do it. Because, I just don't know how that would work Maybe if I was writing an action manga, I would throw the scissors and he would throw the lightning and it would hit the scissors and they were metal, so it would pull all the lightning in and then it would render his power useless while I was throwing scissors. I don't know. Maybe. I guess that could work. That could be a cool action scene if you were doing a Mega Man anime. I want a Mega Man anime. Like a modern today Mega Man anime going through all the games. Like start at the beginning, build the robot masters, build up the world for 1 or 2 episodes, have Wily go crazy and reprogram them, attack the city, create the first wave, Wily escapes at the end, and then, like the second season is Mega Man 2, and the third season is Mega Man 3. These are things I'm never going to get in my life, I don't think. But I can still hope for things. That would be really cool. Let's see him. I want to see this. I want to see this face. He's got this wild face in here. Small thing. Jada. I know you don't need my advice, Jada. I know that you're rocking it out. But you know how in the backgrounds of your toys, like for the Street Fighters, you've been using the levels? You know how that's like a thing? And I think that you're trying to create the same effect right here, but it doesn't really work for me. Listen, just you can have my idea for free. Jada, look, put a W up here in the corner, okay? Or something like that, all right? And just make these plates as if the door just closed. Just can you do that for me? Can you do that? Because I want that. It's like this part of a room that doesn't really do anything for anybody. Like, it just, come on. You're knocking it out of the park with everything else. This has been weak in the Mega Man unboxings. Okay, so once again, you gotta give it to them. Like, these are small figures with so much. Like, they pack a lot into this minor detail. That's cool. That's very much a Lek-Man. He very much looks like... Guys, there's a lot of personality in this tiny little dude. Like, does he not kind of look like he's kind of like the cool guy? Like maybe he was the cool robot master. Am I not the only one that reads that? Like, do you get the feeling that this guy, he probably thought he was the coolest of them? And then like on his back, I like this effect right here. Like these little vents and everything, and this little... So, like, I'm just imagining... And this is, of course, off the top of my head, but, like, I imagine that he would have to vent heat. Would you think that Fireman had to vent heat a lot more? Or would you think that Electroman, even though I realize one is literally producing fire, but one is like a gas fire that produces fire and then shoots it, but is actually built for that kind of heat, where the other one, because he's electricity, he generates a lot of energy, and then that creates a lot of heat, and he has to have 2 vents on his back to like push the heat out, maybe? Like, because now I'm kind of thinking like he's running around the room and shooting lightning and everything like that, and then these vents have to like steam out. Because, I mean, the effect is there. If it's there, yeah. And then he's still got just like all the others, they got the little rocket feet. This guy, comes with a pointer finger. So he can tell you that he was the coolest guy. Look at that. There it is. You see it. See what I'm saying? Like, the personality in this tiny little dude is amazing. And then, of course, he has... This is so dumb. I love this. He has a thumb to tell you exactly that he is, in fact, the coolest guy here. Or to be like, good job, man. Like, just, this face is amazing. But, let's see that other face, man. Yep. There it is. Look at that face. This is ridiculous. That is so wild. I have no idea what to think about that. He does come with this effect. I'm not seeing anything. I'm guessing it just goes around his hand. I'm guessing it's just this. So he can shoot lightning. I'm pretty sure it's that simple, if you want the truth of it. I don't think it's any more complicated than it just kind of wraps around his arm and he is now shooting lightning or whatever. I really think it's that simple. I thought maybe it might go the other way, but I don't think it does, because he doesn't. He's the only one of these Robot Masters that did not come with a stand. This effect attaches to him, and he's got a thumb to tell you great job, and he's got a finger to point and do his promos, and he's got his really, I know I'm the coolest guy in the room face, and he's got the screaming face. Look at this right here. Look at this guy pointing at himself because he's so cool. And look at this guy knowing just how smug. Like, these guys hang out. These guys party, okay? You can't tell me they don't. That's Electman. Very simple. I love these figures so far. Like, they're very simple figures. They're not going to blow your mind. They move very well for their size. And they're pretty easy to work with. I'd say changing the hands is a little difficult because like they are small, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. For the amount of movement that you get out of these little guys, they're really, really awesome. And so that is Electman added to the shelf. That gives me every Mega Man figure so far, except for you probably will not see me reviewing Bomb Mega Man, because like I don't need green Mega Man. Back to the chat. And because I did see it, yes. This is kind of fantastic. Oh, dude. Can you imagine a setup where, like, he's in the throne like this, right? And then Mega Man is in the foreground, and then this guy is sitting at the throne just, like, talking crap for him? Oh, man. I'm going to do a lot of stupid stuff with that chair. Like, stuff that has nothing to do with anything. Let's see. How far back do I gotta go here? Okay, let's see. Let's go Electman. I still have my SBC Global. That's crazy. I can tell SBC Global is old because I don't know what that is. The BB3, just sounds like your basic YouTube name. H3H3, anyone? I don't even know what that is. So no, not anyone. I remember getting the email when my family made the jump from dial-up to DSL internet. Oh man, I remember. I remember having to tell my dad, "Hey, can I get online? Can you not pick up the phone for like an hour or two? I'm gonna play Command and Conquer online." I mean, Bill, before I was forced to have my actual name on YouTube account, I chose the call sign Omega Red X666. I made that call sign when I was 9. Also, I don't think Bill Bush III is that cringy. I have you nicknamed as Sir Billiam, the Universe Master on Discord. I was unaware of this name. And yes, my dad was disappointed when I chose my call sign as well as my email. Isle Rose would like to have a word with you, Bill Guy. Okay. That requires a little bit of context. When I moved to doing online games, specifically like Diablo and Command and Conquer, because I used to play Command and Conquer in combat rooms. Like you would go into like these chat rooms, these Command and Conquer chat rooms, and then you would like give your information or whatever, and then you'd link up and you'd play against each other. Because you had to like set it up back then. You couldn't just like go online. There wasn't just like a room. You'd go to the Command and Conquer or the things like that, and then I'd have to like give you my name or whatever, and so we'd have to exchange some like IP information and whatnot, and then we'd set up like a room so that we could actually battle each other and whatnot. And back when I used to play things like that, Total Annihilation, Command and Conquer, and Diablo and Diablo 2, I went by the call sign for a while, Isle Rose. And I started getting into leading guilds. And we actually developed guilds on on Diablo 1, we had a guild running called the Rose. And if you joined the guild, you would change your last name with the underscore and you would put Rose. And we had a pretty good run during that time, actually. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but like we got about up to 16 members during that time, like people that we actually knew and people that were just like guys on the internet. And like we even had one time where one of us got killed. Like we were in one of this room and like this guy came in, he was just being a prick. And he would go into the dungeon, run in there and like hack you to death while you were trying to like go down the rank or whatever. And I remember finally it was like, okay, this guy's a prick. Stop camping my body. I'm trying to get my stuff back. It's not funny. And he was like, he did it like 4 or 5 times. And then finally it was like, we put a notice out like, all right, this guy is done. Put a notice out. And I remember this is real. I was so into this game, Diablo, the original, that I camped the witch's hut. I camped it, okay? I went in and out of game rooms for like easily a week. Like I would just turn it on, go over, see what she got left. Go on, see what she got left. Go on, see what she got left. So I'm like watching TV, check the witch, leave, check the witch, leave, check the witch, leave. That was like a routine. And I did this until not by cheating, I learned the actual spell from the books, that Apocalypse, the Annihilation spell. And because of that, if you had the Staff of Apocalypse, that was a pretty powerful spell. But it was actually weaker than if you read the book. So, like, I went downstairs where this guy was that was killing people, and I was like, just let him get his body. And he's like, come and get it. And I was like, kadoo, kadoo, kadoo. I can unleash the apocalypse spell all over the dungeon and killed every single thing on the floor, like, including him. I was like, I asked nicely. Like, it reminds me of how Seth never knew how to pronounce my current Discord name of I don't know if I necessarily know how. Like, I'm looking at it right there. I think it's Giorno, but I'm not 100% sure if I say it right. Because I don't know if I've heard it. Like, my mind is not processing today the way that I would like to. Will you be trying TMNT Splinter's Fate video game? I don't know. I mean, I would like to say yes, but I missed the last one. Like, I think I missed the last 2 video games. I do that on purpose. Yeah, Cutman scissors are used to cut through electricity-compatible components. The metal in the scissors blocks off the electric current and slashes up the circuits. Boom, weakness. That's the logic. Oh my. There we go. I want the new Mega Man without the helmet. Oh my god. Dude. They got me on that one. You know how we always talk about, oh, the FOMO? This whole thing is built off FOMO, and they are trying. They're trying to get your money, and they're not stupid companies. They need you to buy the same figure you already bought, so it won't cost them anything. They re-released, basically, because I'm going to get him. I got another Mega Man. Because I seen him. He's this Mega Man. As far as I could tell, nothing is different. It's just this. But his helmet is off. So he has like the flowing hair. They got me. I'm gonna buy helmetless Mega Man. Like, they got me. They got me on this one. They did not get me on Green Mega Man. They were like, hey, he's green, he's got a bomb. And I was like, good for him. You're not getting me to buy that Mega Man. I already got that Mega Man. They were like, we took his helmet off. And I was like, ah! Damn it. And yes, metal conducts electricity, so when the scissors hit, they take the electricity to send it to vulnerable parts, damaging Electman even more. This is the actual lore. By the way, you said you played the classic and X games, but what are your thoughts on Zero series? I beat it. I beat all 4 Zeros. Zero series is harder than it needs to be. I don't know what it was trying to prove, but that's what I'll tell you about that. I played those games legit. That I'm going to tell you that ahead of time right now. I didn't have an easy mode. I played them on the Game Boy Advance as they came out, and I beat all 4 of them. And like 3 lives to beat the entire game is madness. Like, that is a hard game if you are not on an emulator or on the newer version of that game, like the collection. Like, those were hard games. As for Battle Network, I don't really have an opinion. I started playing one of them, and that's as far as I ever got. So I don't have an opinion on 2 games, and one of them I own, actually. I don't know what to tell you about Battle Command or Battle Mission, the RPG. I've just never played it. I own it. I have it. It's physically on my shelf. Remember that I did a video here specifically talking about how video games, I had a real problem? That's I own that game, and I've never once put it in. It's never left the case, ever. But I own it, so I have the RPG. I could try it sometime. And then as for Battle Network, I started one, and I don't remember why I didn't play it any further. Because I'm not going to tell you I hated it, because I don't remember much about it one way or another other than the fact that it's a thing. Oh, and I did not like the The one where you're new, the castle, the Metroidvania Mega Man, where you're like, you could be Mega Man kind of, or Zero kind of. I didn't like that game almost at all. I did. And it was. Apparently, Electman is the creator of Mega Man's favorite robot master. I agree wholeheartedly, at least from the first ones. Oh, is the creator... So it's the creator's favorite robot master. You're having too much fun with that Mega Man figure. Dude, I have no idea why. I love these Mega Man figures, man. They are so fantastic. They bring happiness to my life. Isle Rose, that actually sounds badass. Sounds like a fantasy anime character. There's a character from a recent fantasy anime I like, a manly dark knight called, get this, Rosy Mist. The English subs and dubs make it into Logi. Not to make it sound dumb, but I like that it's dumb. I don't remember 100% where the name came from. Like, I remember I started using it, and I used it for a lot of my online stuff. Like, for a while there, that was like my go-to name for online stuff, was Isle, and then the underscore, and then Rose, or if I had to put it all as one thing. And I used that for a while. Like, for a long while. And I even had, like, an entire idea if there was ever to be, like, a way that such a character was to look. I had that figured out as well back then. Let's see. Well, okay, so this is getting dangerous. There's that. There's that. There's that. I guess if that wins, we'll dwindle on that. There we go. Did I play Mega Man Legends? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played Mega Man Legends 1, 2, and I think I still have the No, I still have a copy of Mega Man Legends 2. I do not have a copy of Mega Man Legends 1 anymore. I did. And though I have played and beat it, I do not have the Tron game. Guessing the Metroidvania game. No, it's not Mighty Number 9. It's called like Mega Man Zero or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. It like takes place in the way futures. I don't like it at all. Like, I don't even remember the name of those games. I own Mighty Number 9 as well. I have it physically. It's on my shelf right now. Still wrapped. Never been opened. Never been played. Never been touched. I played Mighty Number 9. Couldn't get into it, frankly. After talking to Seth tells me that a big part of it was people were expecting it to be Mega Man, but they misunderstood and thought that it would be more like Mega Man X, and he says it's more rudimentary to compare it, or it's more comparable to like Mega Man, and he said he thinks that's why a lot of people didn't really give it, like, the hype didn't live up, Because the way he talked, the game was fine. Like, it wasn't anything extraordinary, but it wasn't as bad as people were making it, as the way he was telling me. It's fine, though I get the outrage over it. I really like the Mega Man Powered Up and underrated remake of the first classic game. I also like Maverick Hunter X. Both of those remakes are absolutely fantastic. Yes, it's Mega Man ZX. Yeah. That's it. That's the game. That right down there, that's the game. I did not like it. I played both of them. Like, I bought both of them. I expected to like them. I mean, why would I not like them? It seemed like everything was set in motion for it. And then the next thing I knew, I couldn't get into it. And I tried. Like, I gave it a good, 4 hours or whatever, and was finally like, I'm not feeling this at all, and turned it up. Turned it off and was done. And yep, it just won, which means we are on the last DC Multiverse. After this, until Superman comes in, DC Multiverse is removed from the lives. Uh-oh, what's that dog doing out there? This dog outside thinks she's getting away with something. Not mine. My neighbor's dog. Very well trained, though. All they got to do is say hey, and they come right back. Beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. She runs along the fence and everything, along my dog. That's probably what that was right there, because they'll run back and forth across the fence and everything. That has happened a couple times. You were talking about ZX like you're identifying a criminal among a line of people. Yes, ZX, that's the one. Well, it is. It's criminal to take a concept that I had such high hopes for and to dash them so hard. That's the last one. For some reason, this guy has not been able to win anything. Every time he's made the list, every time we voted, he has lost. I don't know why. He seems awful cool to me. Maybe he's going to be disappointing once I open him up and check him out. I don't know. He seems awful cool. DC Multiverse. Well, Ellie, I guess we really are the last of us. Here we go. Necron. Black Lantern. Yes. This guy kicked off the biggest event in comic books for me. Like, when I was growing up, is growing up the right term at this point? I was in my 20s. Whatever. Look, I don't know if it just hit at the right time. If I was young enough, had the money, was interested to do my own things, had the free time, was reading all the books. If it just hit the right way, I don't know. But The Blackest Night, even today, for me, is the biggest DC comic book event ever. And I honestly do not believe it has ever been topped. Some stuff feels like it came close to being good stories. But I don't think I've read a DC event that had me on the edge like Blackest Night ever again. I mean, it was unreal. Like, that, the Blackest Night was one of those events that just, like, a lot of these world-ending events try too hard, too fast, and get too complicated with being into the world. That's a thing. Like, it's like, oh, this godlike entity wants to get his hands on this and blah, 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 and a bunch of special metals and multiverse this and yada, yada, and because of so-and-so and Nexus and yada, yada, and blah, 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 and da-da-da-da-da-da. No, there's an emotional spectrum. We know most all of it through the War of the Lanterns and everything like that, and it just so happens that there are 2 rings that we don't necessarily know about. We do know about them, but we've never really talked about them. And they're actually in the Oath in Blackest Day. In brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. The Oath is more than just an oath. The Guardians wrote it as a warning, something that the Lanterns say all the time, and never once stopped to think that there was danger on the horizon, and they'd been running an oath to it forever. In brightest day, in blackest night. The blackest night is the rise of the Black Lantern rings. And the Black Lantern rings spread like a plague. And these rings are different than the other rings. The rings wear you. And no, we're not doing the Soviet Russia joke. I'm not going to do it. I will not stoop to that joke. You can make that joke right now if you'd like. I'll wait. You go ahead. Did that make you feel a certain way? Did you enjoy that? Great. Now look, when these rings, when they latch on to somebody's emotional spectrum, because that's part of what they do, they latch on to a part of you. And you give it an emotional field that it can track, like a sadness, a great love, a major fear, something of that nature, right? It will latch on to that feeling, and it will go onto your finger. It will basically kill the user, create a husk, and then the ring is literally you. At that point, you are not you anymore. You are controlled by the Lantern. It was in these books that we saw some of the coolest things ever, including universes that had been deleted that the rings could tap into and use. Because she hasn't been on a video in a while, this character right here got a shining moment in the comics when, during the Blackest Night, the JSA was holding a city alone. The Blackest Night was nasty because every ring that attached to everybody else was like a spreading plague that then they all came in because everybody, as a species, we are a social species. So if one of these rings somehow catches onto my emotional spectrum and it goes onto me, and then it can somehow use me to trigger my wife, and then gets my wife, and that somehow triggers her to be able to get an emotional response from her mom, and then that gets her mom, and then that gets her other daughter, and then that goes from there, and then it spans out. It's unreal how hard this goes. Well, one of the things the Black Lanterns did is they brought her Superman back. And she fights that Superman. Power Girl fought the Black Lantern Superman, the classic Superman of her universe. She fist fought that Superman and held him at bay. Like the Green Lantern of the JSA, the Flash of the JSA, held their own against one of the worst things we had ever seen in DC history. Heck, it was so bad. It was so bad that the Bat family, instead of dealing with the situation, froze themselves. So they couldn't be taken. That was the solution they came up with. Most of the Bat family used the artillery weapons from like the Mr. Freeze and things like that. They used those weapons, froze themselves so that the rings would pass them by. They couldn't be added, but also they weren't exactly helping the situation because now they're out of the game. Like you're talking about when Zatanna's dad came back to life. And Zatanna's dad, having most of the same powers she does, literally looks and goes to use his magic, And he specifically says, everyone dies. But of course, he says it backwards. And she immediately was like, oh no. Like, because she knows what that's about to do. And she's like, everyone lives. And he's like, everyone dies. Everyone lives. And then, like, she has to take him off to another area to fight him alone because it's not going to go well if this guy's on the battlefield. Like, and then when all the lanterns show up to deal with this, and when this guy's on the battlefield and like black rings just come out of his chest, like there's so many moments in The Blackest Night that to this day, and I don't know if it's just a mix of the artwork, the scenario, the situations, the crazy moments that different characters get, the way that it taps into the history of DC, because you have these emotional bursts, and those emotional situations is what draws you in and makes you like, and like even the greatest heroes of DC are getting overrun by this. Like the Flash can't stop it. Like the Flash family can't stop it. Superman can't stop it. Wonder Woman can't stop it. The Greens go out and start gathering an army, and they try to deal with it, and Green Lanterns start falling like flies, and then before you know it, now literally a group of every single Lantern gets together to create basically a new kind of Lantern Corps. Basically, hey, this is like end of the universe stuff. How about we put our petty crap aside, and we're all going to have to work together here, because there's only one force in existence that we know of that actually stops the black rings, and that's the white ring. And we don't know where it is. We don't know where the entity is. We've got to find it. And then they figure out that the entity has actually been sleeping on Earth, which is part of the reason, like, we kind of get screwed. They kind of like retcon a little bit into that and kind of say, hey, one of the reasons that so much crap happens on Earth is because the entity is hidden there. And subconsciously, it kind of draws problems to our planet. So, like, that's been a problem for years and whatnot. And then they go there and, like, different lanterns start trying to use the white power. That sounded terrible. The white lantern power, that was, like, terrible phrasing. But that's... And then, so they start to try to use it. And, like, you had, like, crazy moments where different characters got the white ring. Like, there was Sinestro as the White Lantern. That was crazy. Didn't last very long. Larfleeze actually, like, recruits a couple people, not necessarily by choice, and then loses his crap. And, like, doesn't like the fact that there are now other Orange Lanterns. So, like, I think he bit Lex Luthor's finger off to, like, get the Lantern ring back. I can't remember if that's how that happened or whatever. Man, The Blackest Night was unreal. I mean, it was unreal. It was so good. And to this day, I don't know if I've ever read another comic event ever that can hold up to this. Like, I just don't think it's a thing. I've read a lot of other events, and none of them felt like this. None of them felt like they came that close to ending the DC universe in a way that felt like it could happen, and maybe even should happen, and still felt right when we kind of pulled it back and started getting our bearings. Like, I gotta see this guy. We gotta see this guy. Let's do it. Okay, let's see it. First off, he comes with the Black Lantern scythe, which, I mean, what do you want me to say here? Like that is a sick weapon. By design, that is a sick weapon, and it makes a ridiculous amount of sense, and it's really, really cool. And it's also like not straight. It's like really jagged and nasty and everything. That's a cool image in general. It's actually kind of sharp. And then, of course, there he is. Necron. Like the Black Lantern symbol right there on his head. The jaw is not articulated, but this guy looks like something straight out of Spawn, so I'm sure like this was right up their alley, man. They almost couldn't mess this up. His joints are fine. Moves just like the other ones. I mean, as far as he's just a really giant, fully posable guy. I mean, his legs seem about the same as any of the others. This is fairly malleable, as you saw. I can move it. Double joint. He's got the ball feet, but like, I don't know if it's just because he's so big that it doesn't bother me or what, but the level of detail in this guy is sick. It would be cool if this was actually a hood. Can you imagine if this guy would have come out later in the line and this actually would have been a hood and we could have put it on him? That would be cool. Like, he didn't come with anything extra. He's got these that are looking really cool on him. He's got his open chest where you could see his heart and everything like that. Where he's got the Black Lantern symbol right here that wraps around him. Like, dude, this guy is straight up. This guy is straight up the end of the DC universe. The literal reaper of the DC universe. Like, I mean, come on. There. His hand doesn't want to work with me. It's his finger. It's that finger right there. His pointer finger is... Let me move it. There, I got it. Now, let's... Come on, run it down. There. Does this thing go all the way down? It's actually... It's jagged enough that it actually hurts, by the way. There's like these little bitty... I mean, it's really sharp. It's got all these little jagged areas in it and everything. It's stabbing the crap out of me. But I guess that's what you get for your level of detail. It goes all the way down, can touch the ground. It curves up over his head a little bit. This guy is sick, man. He also, I think, is the largest that I think has been released. If he's not, I'm surprised. I don't know, like, but he certainly feels big. I mean, this is a large figure. I don't know how big. I don't have my measurer here, so I can't give an accurate reading right now, but dude, this guy's not tiny. He does come with his little stand though. So, you know, there you go. He's got his stand, so he doesn't, he can stand up, no problem. And that puts us at the end of the DC stuff so far. So, I'm thinking we may have to do a video talking about what I have and if all of it is staying, or what throughout the course of collecting the line has made me feel like maybe it's time to turn away from certain items, because I do think there's one or two of them that I would actually take off the shelf at this point. But I think overall, collecting this line has been pretty solid. I mean, I don't know what else I can really ask for in terms of what it is. They've been very cheap figures. Heck, This guy cost me 24 bucks. I got him on sale, but I think he was only like 40 or something to begin with. Like, you got to hand it to McFarlane for somehow maintaining the price point that he did to give us what he gave us over the time that he ran the line. Like, I'm not saying that it's perfect, but for what we were paying, for some of the stuff that we actually got, like the wired capes, sometimes faux fur, like, in some cases, an amazing amount of sculpted detail. They are posable, and they're like 36, they're like 36 points of articulation or something like that. It's something like, yeah, like, look, I think they're kind of, I don't know, I'm not saying give him all the credit in the world, but I'm thinking the people that come after him, I don't know if they're being very fair at the price point and what he's managed to do for as long as he managed to do it. And the deep cuts that he did that are going to be a long time coming if we ever get them at all from what's coming. Not that I'm not looking forward to seeing what Mattel does, but like, to go through the entire thing again, to restart your DC collection again, as we've already done like 6 different times, that's what gets me about it. And this one really felt like it felt like over time, not that he hasn't had missteps, but it felt like over time he's gotten better and better and better as he did it. Back to the chat. Ah, yes, Mega Man Z Cross. Good. Thanks, Scott. Good thing Scott's not. Yeah, I know he really hates that cross stuff. Yep, no, this guy never won. He was added over and over and over and over and over. Heck, the last time, our man beat him. He was in the last, you got to figure, the last 4 votes, he lost all of them. He only got picked by default this time. Every time that we have done one of these, he was not won. He's always lost. Like, always. Nope, gotta save the best for last. This one I do remember. It was advertised quite a bit. Wasn't it every DC hero and villain that was killed resurrected by the dead? Yes. Yeah, a lot of them. Yes, that's exactly right. Like, and it was digging into the history of DC. There you go. See? There you go. I knew somebody had to do it. I knew the second I said that the ring wears you, I was like, somebody has to make that. Somebody's going to make that joke. Larfleeze already stole your joke. It wasn't so much a joke, but playing off what Bill was saying about Reddy making the joke. It is cool. He feels big. Yeah, I had 2 moments of saying something in a way that certainly should not be taken out of context in that one moment there. Question: what's your opinion on in-box and out-of-box collecting? I'm an in-box collector, but I mostly collect TMNT. So here's the thing, man. Realistically, I've talked about this a lot. There are a lot of benefits to collecting in-box and out-of-box. And I've never done a video specifically like covering certain things, but there are pros and cons to the idea. Okay. Pro. Chair. I know, you're like, what? Look, as an inbox collector, when I get my figure, I instead would have had Lex, not chair. Now I can toss Lex to the side, because who cares? Chair. that's what I wanted it for anyway. As an opener, another pro to being an opener, I get to move around the figure, see it, touch it, change its head, swap its hands. As another opener, when I go to a convention, my figures are a little cheaper. Sometimes this isn't true. Sometimes I do have to buy them in the box and then open them myself. But sometimes I may have been lucky enough that I could have found him in a bin, in a baggie. Like, they just throw this guy in a bag and he's got his sword, and I know that he's got the sword and he's got this and he's got that, and I look at him in the bag and they're like $5 and I'm like, here you go, man, and I leave. That's pretty cool, because relatively knock off about 30% of the value because you opened it. And that's considering that it's still in good condition. Like, say I sold this guy loose. If he's in good condition, he has all of his parts, remove 30% of his value because of the fact that he's not boxed. That's relatively what your thought process is. So my figures can be a little cheaper. Sometimes if I don't care necessarily about the condition, if I get into something like customizing as an opener, it's easier for me to open something, keep it for a while, and then if I find out later, like this Superman doesn't really do it for me, well, I have a couple of options. I can sell him as a loose. Somebody out there probably wants him, if I'm not stupid about my prices. Or, as an opener, I can make the attempt myself. Like, what's a Superman costume that I was really into? Well, I can work on my painting skills, or I could try something myself. Like, I could take the Superman, like the Action Comics Superman that I no longer necessarily care about, and if I wanted, I could try to paint him red. I know that sounds very specific, but when I was growing up, there was an arcade machine, a Superman arcade game, and I played it with my dad, and I always picked the red Superman because I was young, and that was different, and there was nothing more to it than that. Just, oh cool, he's got a red suit! That was it. That's being a kid, and like, you don't need to worry about the story or anything. This one's green or blue. Like, that's all it was. But like, I could try that myself. I could pull the figures apart. There are negatives. One of the positives is I can fit a lot more on my shelves. They look different. I could change the way they look all the time. Like, I could set up battle scenes and do photography and all these extra little things that I personally like to do. I could do little skit comedies like the Dumb Face Skeletor videos. Like, I could do all these different things that I like to do as a loose collector. But, that being said, there are benefits to being an in-box collector. One, it's a little neater. I mean, it is. And you don't have to worry about some of the things that I have to worry about. Like, that's Frazetta Icons. That's DC Multiverse. That's the first bag of hands for Marvel Legends. Those are Marvel Legends heads. There's like 5 or 6 bags over there. I'm about to add to those bags, actually, because we opened some stuff, and so now I got more hands and effects and heads, and of course I have to store all of those. That could be a problem. It could be a problem trying to figure out where you're going to put all this stuff. Like, are you the kind of person that buys like 3 or 4 or 5 Captain Americas? Well, now you have 3 or 4 or 5 shields. If you only end up displaying one Captain America, where do all the other shields go? If you're the kind of person that keeps everything. Or you constantly got to worry about like shuffling things out. But if you do choose to sell something, like, oh, you know, this Spider-Man really doesn't do it for me anymore. Now I have like the quintessential Spider-Man I've been looking for, so I'm going to get rid of these other 2. Crap. Now I've got to like go find pictures of them, figure out what hands and accessories they came with, try to find them in this mess of 3 different bags that are like this, find the hands that I'm looking for, put them all together, find the effects, bag that guy, and you got to be careful about the bags you've used, because I've heard you can cause problems by using the plastic bags that have like acid in them. It can like eat the paint out and stuff like that. So that's supposedly a big problem. As an opener, there's always the chance that I might accidentally leave these guys in a very specific position where like the sun hits them. And over time in this room is every single day, the sun comes up and the sun comes up and the sun comes up and the sun comes up. Hopefully it keeps doing that throughout the course of my lifetime. And as it keeps doing this, and if I have the windows open or something like that, and the sun comes in, it goes across the shelves, sooner or later you may get color bleed. Because that happens depending on the kind of plastic and stuff like that. The sun will actually pale the colors out and bleed the colors away. I've seen stickers where if you leave it out in the sun, the stickers go completely white. Do I understand the science behind that? No. I'm sure I could figure it out, to be fair. And maybe, now that I think about it, it'd be cool to know why that happens. I would be interested to see a video where somebody specifically talks about why plastics in the sun lose their color. Like, that would be interesting to me. I'd be interested in that. There's also the possibility, by the way, as an opener, that maybe you make a big display like this, and maybe everything seems fine. And then maybe one day you're sitting in here, and you're duping along in your life, and all of a sudden, a plane flies overhead, and it's way closer to your house than you think. And it goes, because it's a plane, and then your whole house shakes, and then stuff falls over. And then it creates a domino effect, and it goes, and a bunch of stuff falls, and then you're over here like, crap. And you got to get up and go fix it. That's a problem for loose collectors and whatnot. In-box collectors also get this cool thing that they can do where they can like, if you're an in-box collector, one cool thing you can do is if you have a spare room like a basement or a garage that doesn't get used or something of that nature, you could create a makeshift toy store. Like your own little toy store, like going back in time. You can buy the shelves and racks and hang them up, and you could actually go out every day. I've seen people do this with like VHSs where they make like little video stores and stuff like that. Like this one guy rebuilt a Blockbuster in his 2-stall garage. That's what it is. He goes out there, and when he flicks the lights on, it's a Blockbuster. He has standees, and he has like a middle area, and that's where he goes when he's going to go get one of his movies. He wants to watch a movie that day, he'll like go out there, and that's where he keeps all of his films. So where he keeps all his DVDs, his Blu-rays, his 4K, his VHS, he keeps them in this makeshift Blockbuster that he created. That's cool. I've seen people do this with toys. I've seen people that are in-box collectors that create miniature toy stores. I can't really do that. I can create like a thrift store where I can just throw a bunch of toys all over the place, and maybe if you're lucky you can dig through the bins and find something that's cool. Like, that's what I can do. Chances are, if you are an in-box collector, most of your figures will be in better condition than mine for their entire lifetime. But I would argue that if you bought Mondo Tila and you just keep her in a box, you will never experience the full figure. Like, this is fantastic work. And anybody that's an in-box collector will never hold this in their hands. They will never turn it and notice every detail. In some cases, and we're just going to use Tila's butt for this, you will never see that. Ever. Because chances are, if you are an in-box collector, You will never remove said figures from the boxes, and you will never see certain angles from them. Like when I open up Elecman and I look him over and I actually get to see the vents on the back and those 3 little dots and tiny little details that are like worked into the figures, and like the ears on the side of the head and like all the little vent things and everything, and the separation of color. These are like little pieces of art. There's so much detail in even the simplest figure. Tigra is like holding a piece of Frank Frazetta artwork in your hand. I know this is still the broken one. It's still on my desk. I did that video with her and I've never moved her. If you keep Tigra in the box, you will never see these cheeks. It's never going to happen. Not that it matters. I'm just saying in general. There are downsides. If you're an inbox collector, say you get the Rise of Evil pack from Motu. Well, if your Rise of Evil is Keldor, unless you open it, take the chance of damaging the box, cut the plastic, remove the head, and put the Skeletor head on, you will never see this. It'll be in the box, but it'll never be on Keldor's head. You lose out on certain aspects of the toys in general. But, as an inbox collector, your stuff will always be neat. It will more than likely always sell for higher value. In fact, it will. If you have a perfect box and I have an open figure, if I sell this guy tomorrow and you sell this guy tomorrow, yours will more than likely sell at a higher value than mine. The only time this isn't true is with very specific figures and in very specific markets. Usually, something like Playmates over there, like the Star Trek, I buy these and people go, and I've had people almost have strokes where they like write in and they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe you just opened that. And I'm like, why? Like, she cost $4 in mint condition packaging. $4. Like, did you think she was a rare find? Did you think I just destroyed something that like guys, some of these figures don't go up in value. You're lucky if you break even. And sometimes you won't even do that. So you take a chance. I take a chance as an opener the same way that somebody takes a chance as an inbox collector. Say you have, I know this is going to be a weird one, but say you have Barbie Spock. Okay? You have Barbie Spock. I bring this up because I actually do have it. I have like 2 Barbies. I know that's weird to say. They're both Star Trek figures. One, because it was bought for me, it was a Spock. Somebody bought me a Barbie Spock, and I was like, oh, he does look like Spock. That's pretty cool. And so I put him in the corner. He's never been opened because like I don't have anything that would match him, so like he just kind of sits in the corner. And then, strangely enough, about a year before Toys R Us went under, I was at Toys R Us, and my kid said, you know, we were there for her birthday, and I was like, you can get anything you want. And this is one of those moments that, like, I don't know, I guess you'd call it, like, super personal or whatever, but, like, every now and then, man, there are things I look back with my kid, and it kind of floors me. Like, we went in there, I gave her all her birthday money. She's all loaded up and everything. She's running around in Toys R Us looking at everything, and she sees Uhura. And it's a Barbie. And she's like, that's what I want. I'm like, really? I'm like, you know that's Star Trek, right? And she goes, yes, I know. And I'm like, okay, I mean, you can get whatever you want. It's your money. I'm not stopping you. If this has caught your attention for whatever reason, that's fine. I buy it. We go home. She gives it to me. She didn't buy it for her. She took her birthday money on her birthday, went to Toys R Us, found a Star Trek toy, bought it, didn't tell me it was for me, because I think she knew that I would have been like, no, this is your birthday, you get a thing. And then she waited till we got home, and then she gave me the box. And I was like, you didn't have to get me a thing, this is your birthday. And she's like, yeah, but you needed this. And I'm like, well, I didn't, but like, now I've never opened it. Now, say as an opener, I opened Barbie Spock. I would have lost a decent amount of money. I think he goes for 170 and sometimes over $200 easy, Barbie Spock. I think he does. And I think if you have all three, like as a group, they sell for nearly $400. But I'll bet you, if you opened Barbie Spock and lost some of his stuff and you only had the Spock, which is a risk you take as an opener, he's probably worth like $30. I mean, that sounds like a major dip, like from $200 in box mint condition with all of his stuff down to like Barbie Spock loose with some dust on him and none of his gear. That's probably like a $30 figure. So the thing is, I don't think anybody's wrong for choosing either way. I think you might be in the wrong if you think that you're getting into this hobby for monetary gains. Like, if you think you're buying all this so that you can invest, so that you could sell it back at a later time because these toys are just going to go up in money, I think you're going to be really shocked that you probably just wasted a lot of your time, money, and effort in something that does not yield the return that you think it yields. And you probably would have been better off with the tactile experience from touching toys. But I completely see and understand why each person collects different ways. And for some people, it makes more sense to collect in box. There's something about the novelty of that window. And like putting it on the shelf and creating like a Toy Store-esque experience where you can come in and look at the stuff and everything that's really cool that I can't do. Like, I don't have that ability because I am an opener. But I also think that you miss out on certain things, like if you have movie turtles in a box, that's cool. But I have movie turtles out of a box that I can move around and pose and take pictures with and like do goofy stuff, like do funny Michelangelo faces while they're eating pizza and stuff. Like, for me, as an opener, opening, there were more benefits to it because of the kind of person I am and the kind of interests I have. For somebody else, very different argument. And I don't think you're wrong for choosing one or the other. I think there's ups and downs to either choice you could make. I know that's a long answer, but this is a topic that a lot of collectors battle with all the time, and there are deep reasons, both good and bad, on both sides, depending on what you choose to do. And I'll say that if you choose to do both, I don't think you're necessarily doing yourself a favor, because I think you're doubling up on your money that you'll never get back. The idea that you buy one to have in box and one to have out of box, so you can have both, like, so you can live in both sides. If you have the money to live like that, that's very cool. Like, I'm happy for you. But I don't know many that actually can survive with that level of drop into this hobby over a sustainable time. That's where I am with that question. Let's see. Who will win, Dumbface Skeletor or Necron, the end of the universe? Skeletor has already ended multiple universes. See, in fact, if you're talking about the power of Grayskull, like actually getting into the castle and using the power of Grayskull, because the DC universe and the Motu universe are actually interconnected. The DC universe in comic book form is part of the DC multiverse. And when DC went over there to try to deal with Skeletor, because Skeletor was doing something at the time that was like collapsing universes, they went to try to stop it. It did not go well for them. Like, I think power scaling in these universes gets out of whack, and people don't realize just how crazy the power scaling is. But like, when He-Man says, "I become the strongest man in the universe," he calls on the power of the universe. I don't think people understand how broken that really is. Like, how broken He-Man is supposed to be, and the fact that Skeletor, in many continuities, is an honest challenge to him. I think it maybe comes down to people's preferences. Some people prefer 6-inch scale and quality of DC Universe classic action figures. Don't know why, because I think Todd has done so good. I get that. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you on that one. I like what Todd has done. I did not like classics, which is part of the reason why I worry so much. I'm like in the middle. I'm excited to see something new, because there's always that excitement about this. The next wave could be the quintessential best figures we've ever gotten at said price point and scale. But it could also be the current Power Rangers Playmates catastrophe. I gotta wait and see. I'm also Inbox, but I only collect DC. Yeah, and I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I don't see any reason why we would argue about such a thing. I'm just happy to see people able to do it. Bill picks up Lex Luthor figure, tosses it over his shoulder. Ahoo! Chair! Anywho, chair! Right. I think you should check out the TMNT Shredder Dracula Universal Monster. I saw that. Some of those crossover figures are cool. I'm going to head out. Got to do that sleeping thing. Later on, man. I can stay for 3 hours. I don't have that long. Do you save your boxes? Not normally, no. As you've witnessed, most of the time I literally just throw them. And then at the end, I pick them up off the floor and I take them out to the trash almost immediately. Like, I just get rid of them. However, if the box is really something, like it's a spectacle, it's really, really cool, I will hold on to it. But there's an argument to how long I will do that before I start to feel like this is taking up space. Because one box can take up the space that 3 figures or more could stand in. Literally. Like, I mean, here. That's CoverGirl, G.I. Joe. That's like, this is somewhat of a bad representation, because like I don't think this would do you any favors regardless, because you kind of want to see what you bought, right? Like, because if not, I'll sell this to you for $40. The box. I didn't say what'll be in it. And you'll never know what's going to be in it. Like, this is bad for inbox collectors and loose collectors. Chances are I could open this and this could not be her. That would be an interesting episode. But if I have this and I put it on the shelf back there, the space that this takes up is 3 G.I. Joes. Almost literally 3. Like, dupe, dupe, dupe. So, like, space, if you're going to collect like that, is something to think about. And as I save boxes, it gets to a point where I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it, because if I get rid of the box, I can literally put 5 figures in its place. The box was cool. I liked the artwork. I enjoyed it for what it was worth, but it was just packaging, and then I toss it. That happens to me a lot. Found it. UV rays and the sunlight destroy the bonds between the paints and the actual plastics. So after some time, it goes completely bleached white. So it's a kind of a chemical-esque reaction because of the sun. Like you said, it unbonds the plastic. And that makes a lot of sense to me, actually. That's cool. That's why the U.S. flag on the moon is now a white surrender flag. Oh, shit, that is cool. I'm an inbox collector, but every box is open. I just like displaying them in the box because they feel like new. Yeah, there's a YouTuber I like who's a giant collector like you, and he runs a toy store from his own house. I thought about that. I'm on the verge of it. I have 2 totes of old figures that are like, they're pointless. They're just either old toys or they're just things that I've kind of outgrown or have no real interest anymore. And I've thought about that for a long time. Like, I have a lot of them that are already priced and everything like that, finding a way that I can start doing that myself. I don't plan on selling. I enjoy the artwork and the display of the toys in the box. Oh, I fight my inner self about opening all the time. But then I look at the box and it looks so nice, so I don't. Bill, the who would win thing with Skeletor and Necron wasn't a serious power scaling thing. I was joking because funny Bone Man, serious looking Bone Man. Well, it's still Dumbface. Dumbface wins almost everything. He's fantastic. He's got a dumb face, and we love him. All of us, love him. In fact, we love both of him. Because, yes, those are 2 dumb-faced Skeletors standing right there. 2 of them. 2! You can never have enough dumb-faced Skeletor. That being said, thanks for hanging out. Today we got through... We opened Electman. We opened Triclops. We opened Necron. And we opened a chair. Just a chair. Just a chair. A chair that came with nothing else. Just a chair. And we were all very happy to see that chair. And we all very much think that that chair is going to go places in life. It's a fantastic thing that was created. It's kind of wild that they sold just a chair in the DC Multiverse line. But they did, and I bought it. Just a chair. That's all it was. Absolutely, guys, take it easy. I really am. I'm liking these lives a lot. We're gonna keep doing them for as much as we can whenever I have the free time and everything. I do need to tell you that I went to work and they told me that after the Memorial Day weekend, expect to be forced for the foreseeable future. Couple of things. I don't know if that's going to start including the weekdays. If not, because my area is trash and I've been forced since June, they didn't tell me anything I didn't know. Like, I think that information is kind of for the rest of the building. Not me, because I've been forced since June. That's not an exaggeration. I'm coming up on a full year of being forced 6 days a week. But they did say it, so I don't know if that's going to cut into my weekdays. If it doesn't, then nothing here changes. We just keep running exactly like we have been. I'll come in here when I have the opportunities, and we'll keep on opening things. But either way, I don't plan to back away. I am trying to hit this record of posting a video every day for a year. But at the same time, I want those videos to mean something. So I am trying to make sure they're real topics and real things that I can talk about and real things to open and real things to do. But I can't let my buying get out of hand where I just buy a bunch of stuff so I have stuff to open. That's stupid. So yeah, like, I'm kind of watching how I handle things right now. But we are on track right now. We haven't missed a day. I've had a video a day. And not that everybody's watching them, but like, to me, this is a crazy accomplishment. I have never ran YouTube this hard before. Like, ever. Like, this is crazy. But like, this right here probably gave me 5-6 videos if I actually sit down and run with them and anything. But regardless, I know I'm just talking. I always do this at the end of the stream. I always feel like I'm ready to go, and then I have like 14 other things to say because this is, look guys, this is a bigger thing than I think most people realize. When I was growing up, there was a minor outlet for this, and then it disappeared, and then it was gone. I have a video that specifically talks about being a 40-year-old collector, and it talks a lot about my life and how this stuff worked and how I had no friends that were into the things that I was into. There's a reason that this is my hobby. It's because it's an outlet that I have here that I don't have anywhere else. So expect me to stick around as long as I can. I knew from the minute you mentioned Tila that it was going to be a butt joke. Dude, Tila might have the best cartoon butt of the 80s. That could be real. She might actually have the best cartoon butt of the 80s in terms of just 80s action cartoons, not movies. We're not comparing her to Tigra. That's not the same idea. Hard to say. Hard to say. Well, guys, I'm going to get out of here.